Thank you, Rabbi. As we celebrate 5 years of keeping it sacred, we close by honoring the roots that ground us, the larger movement we're a part of, and the deep personal connections that shaped Rabbi Miller and this community.
It is now our joy to welcome Heidi Segal, representing the Union for Reform Judaism. She will speak to the uniqueness of keeping it sacred across the landscape of Reform Jewish life.
Yes. And following Heidi, we'll also hear from Rabbi Jim Kaufman, who has known Rabbi Miller's family for generations. He knew her grandmother, Kit, for whom keeping it sacred is named, and he even performed Rabbi Miller's baby naming when she was just 6 months old. I know. We are so grateful for his wisdom, warmth, and enduring friendship. Now welcome Heidi and then Jim.
Shabbat Shalom. I have to say I'm really a little overwhelmed. Your community is inspiring and it's beautiful. As said, my name is Heidi Segal. I'm a member of the URJ, the Union for Reform Judaism's Executive Board, and I also chair the Commission on Social Action, which is the board for the Religious Action Center for Reform Judaism, which is the social justice component of our movement. This is such a special day, and I have to say I was so honored to have been asked to represent the URJ on this occasion to celebrate your 5th anniversary. When I got the email asking if I would be willing to show up today, I jumped at the opportunity, but for very personal reasons. Like many of you in this room, I'm a longtime member of the Rabbi Heather Miller fan club. I met Rabbi Heather, about 10 years ago when she was working at Temple Israel of Hollywood, and it was suggested to me that she could be helpful with my 12-year-old daughter who is struggling to write her bat mitzvah devar. And yes, Rabbi Miller was so helpful and got Elise and her mother through that challenge. And it was bittersweet for me when that process came to an end, as I didn't just want Elise to continue learning from Rabbi Miller, I wanted her to be like Rabbi Miller. Because at around the same time, I got to see the social justice warrior, Rabbi Heather Miller, in action. As a member of the Black and Jewish Justice Alliance, along with Pastor Q, who was up here earlier, I got to hear this inspirational, thoughtful, authentic, and always strategic leader speak about her challenges and successes as one of the first members of our county's Sheriff's Oversight Commission. Not to mention hearing her speak and address the many other issues facing our Los Angeles community every day. When she shared her plans to launch Keeping It Sacred, I had no doubt that if this is what Rabbi Miller wanted to make happen, it would happen. And looking around this room and sitting here for the last 45 minutes, I see her vision fully alive. For those of you, though, who are not familiar with the Union for Reform Judaism, the URJ, we represent the membership of the Reform Movement, the largest denomination of Jews in North America. We represent over 2 million Jews and more than 800 congregations and a handful of communities like this one, and that number is growing all the time. So I cite these statistics not to bore you, but I think they're really important to raise up today because 5 years ago, in describing our membership, I would have only said congregations, as Keeping It Sacred was the first community to apply and receive membership into the URJ, setting forth a path for others to follow. It was at a time that membership in traditional congregations was decreasing, and Jews, particularly younger Jews, Jews of color, you name it, we've seen everything represented today, were looking for different and new ways to engage. The URJ knew that to represent and to continue to serve the Reform community in the most inclusive way, that its definition of membership would have to change. It would have to evolve as well. That we would include and welcome communities that are defined by their commitment to reform Jewish values, including a commitment to inclusivity, equity, and justice, and not buy a building. But being the first is not really what makes KIT special. as I know from speaking to Rabbi Miller, and as I know all of you know, hearing your comments today. It is so special and notable that kids sought out membership in the URJ, as Rabbi Miller, through her deep involvement and leadership in the Reform movement, she knew the value of connecting this deeply spiritual and joyful community to the larger and broader movement. We are so grateful that she did so. We are so enriched and so much stronger through your engagement. The community that you have formed, the families that have come here together in regular prayer and sacred ritual, the children that are growing up here, and the justice work that takes place is foundational to what we believe in the URJ and in the Reform movement. And it's even more critical than ever in these difficult times as Jews in this country and in this world struggle in the face of increased anti-Semitism throughout the world and the ongoing war and crisis in Israel and Gaza. Never before has the community, for me personally, felt more fractured and more at odds with one another. And it's a community like this that reminds us of the places where we should come together and do come together. Thank you. The shared humanity that is fostered here through your extraordinary rabbi is what will allow this community to continue to thrive and to continue to grow and hopefully model for others in the years to come, even in this challenging time. So on behalf of your partners and friends at the Union of Reform Judaism, I just want to say a heartfelt mazel tov. We look forward to continuing to celebrate and learn from you and work with you in the years to come. Gamar Chatima Tova.
I love this sanctuary. Last time I was here, I was 9 years old. My YMCA club met every week here at the Unitarian Church, our YMCA club of all Jews. We would meet here, and I've been back times since, but the Unitarian Church here holds a special place in my heart. So you guys are keeping sacred is an example of the incredible dynamism of Jewish life. You all know that in more traditional settings and in ancient times that the idea of a congregation like we know today didn't exist. Why? Because you couldn't work on Shabbos. And work was defined as walking more than 2,000 cubits, which is about a half a mile. So therefore, everybody had to live within a half a mile of their synagogue. And you knew each other, and when you came to the synagogue, if Moshe and Rachel weren't there, you noticed they weren't there, and you got a hold of them and you contacted them. There was automatic community by the mere fact that we couldn't go any further than just a half a mile. Also in our tradition, who would lead the service? The Shliach Tzibur. Would he be standing like this? No, his back would be to you. You are a knowledgeable, educated laity. You were the ones you knew had to follow the service. You didn't need to have somebody stand up and say, please rise, please be seated, page 26. You didn't need to do that, okay? It was an educated community. But then change takes place, the birth of non-Orthodox Judaism and people making choices, living distant, building, wanting to perhaps emulate larger churches in the area, wanted to build these giant places. And giant places mean people live in different communities and don't even know each other. So I've the senior rabbi at Temple Beth Hillel down the street for the last 40 years, but I can walk into the synagogue now and not know a soul. And that's the way it is. But and in the with the return of the cantor, the fact that the cantor turned around, or the Shliach Tzibur turned around and faced you, and that changed the whole scene, and deprived you of the opportunity of learning, and so here comes Rabbi Heather with a brilliant idea to regain all of that the great community that, even though we're geographically separated from each other, bring us together and know each other. And when we know each other, then we can really love our neighbor when we know them. She also, as we can see by the incredible listing of all of the educational activities that take place, not once a month, but every single week, the sacred work of empowering people with knowledge. And so for these two reasons, it's a marvelous community, and celebrating 5 years of great effort. And I know that the sacred work of keeping the community together and loving each other and knowing each other and continuing the empowering act of educating will enable kids to reach far into the future. So it's a pleasure to be here, and it was one of the most successful baby namings I ever did.